Imagine a moonless night, the kind where shadows cling to every corner and the air feels thick with secrets. You're standing outside a grand London theater, its marquee glowing with the name of a dazzling new star, Celeste Varnay. The crowd buzzes with excitement, but something's wrong. A scream pierces the night, sharp and chilling. Inside, the star lies lifeless, a single diamond earring missing from her ear. Was it theft? Jealousy? Or something far darker? Welcome to Hercule Poirot's deadly star case, where every clue hides a lie, and the truth is more dangerous than you think. Stick with me as we unravel this mystery with the world's greatest detective. Let's step into the shadows together. Hello? Mystery lovers, and welcome to our journey into Hercule Poirot's deadly star case. I'm your guide, and today we're diving into a tale of glamour, betrayal, and a murder that shakes London's elite. If you love a good whodunit, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single twist. Let's set the stage. It's 1935, and the West End is alive with the buzz of a new play, Stardust Dreams, starring the radiant Celeste Varnay. Her performance as a doomed heiress has critics raving. But tonight, the drama isn't confined to the stage. As the curtain falls, so does Celeste, found dead in her dressing room, her face pale, a glass of champagne spilled across the floor, and that missing diamond earring glinting in our minds. Enter Hercule Poirot, the Belgian detective with a mustache as sharp as his mind, called in to solve a case where everyone's a suspect. Let's explore how this mystery begins and why Poirot's little gray cells are already buzzing. Picture the scene. The Adelphi Theater is a glittering hive of activity. Fans crowd the stage door, desperate for a glimpse of Celeste. Backstage, the air hums with tension. The director, Victor Langston, is a nervous wreck, barking orders. The leading man, Julian Drake, flashes his charming smile, but his eyes dart. Nervously, a less understudy, Nora Kemp, lingers in the shadows, her ambition barely concealed. And then there's the mysterious patron, Lord Edmund Harrow, whose wealth funds the production and whose interest in Celeste seems more than professional. Poirot arrives, his polished shoes clicking on the hardwood floor, his green eyes scanning every detail. He notices the champagne flute, the faint scent of almonds in the air, and a single red rose left on Celeste's dressing table, rose that wasn't there before the show. Was it poison? A crime of passion? Or a calculated act to silence a star who knew too much? Here's where Poirot's genius kicks in. He doesn't just see clues, he sees stories. The spilled champagne suggests haste or struggle. The missing earring worth thousands hints at theft. But why take only one? And that rose? It's a signature, a taunt, or maybe a tribute. Poirot questions the stage manager, who swears Celeste was alone after the performance. But a torn ticket stub in the hallway tells a different tale. Someone was there, uninvited. As Poirot jots notes in his little black book, he mutters, "The truth, it hides in the details, Ms. Amos." For us, the audience, this is our first lesson. A great mystery hooks you with questions, not answers. Who had access to Celeste's room? Why was the door unlocked? What secret was worth killing? 4. Let's wrap up this opening act. We've met our victim, our detective, and a cast of suspects dripping with motive. The stage is set for a puzzle that'll keep us guessing. In the next chapter, we'll follow Poirot as he digs into Celeste's past, uncovering scandals that could burn brighter than her spotlight. What did Celeste know that made her a target? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss Chapter 2, where the clues start to whisper darker truths. Comment below, who do you think killed Celeste Varnay? Let's solve this together. Welcome back, mystery fans, to Hercule Poirot's deadly star case. If you're just joining us, hit that subscribe button and catch up with Chapter 1, where we found the dazzling Celeste Varnay dead in her dressing room at the Adelphi Theater. A single diamond earring missing, a spilled champagne glass hinting at poison, and a mysterious red rose left as a chilling clue. I'm your guide through this glamorous yet deadly puzzle, and today we're diving into Chapter 2, where Hercule Poirot peels back the glittering facade of Celeste's life to reveal secrets that might have led to her murder. Get ready for a web of scandals, hidden enemies, and a detective whose little gray cells are working overtime. Let's keep the suspense alive. Grab a snack, settle in, and let's uncover what made Celeste a star worth killing. We begin with Poirot in the quiet of the theater's green room. Now eerily silent after last night's chaos, the air still carries the faint scent of grease paint and perfume, but the mood is heavy. Poirot, with his immaculate suit and twirling mustache, is already piecing together the puzzle. He knows that to solve a murder, you must first understand the victim. Celeste Varnay wasn't just a star, she was a phenomenon. Born Clara Vane in a small Yorkshire village, she clawed her way from music halls to the West End, her beauty and talent lighting up stages. But fame, as Poirot muses, it comes with shadows, Nan. He starts by interviewing those closest to Celeste, and what he finds is a life tangled in ambition, love, and betrayal. Let's follow him as he digs into her past, where every revelation raises the stakes. First, Poirot speaks with Victor Langston, the director of Stardust Dreams. Victor's a wiry man with a temper, his fingers stained with ink from frantic rewrites. He insists Celeste was a dream to work with, but his twitching eye betrays him. Poirot presses gently, and Victor admits Celeste demanded script changes to favor her role, alienating the cast. She was a diva, he snaps, but worth every tantrum. Poirot notes a crumpled letter in Victor's pocket, its edge singed, as if someone tried to burn it. He doesn't ask for a teat, but his eyes miss nothing. Next, Poirot meets Julian Drake, the leading man whose charm could melt ice. Julian claims he and Celeste were just friends, but his hesitation when asked about their late night rehearsals suggests more. A stagehand whispers to Poirot that Julian was seen arguing with Celeste days ago, something about a promise she broke. A lover's quarrel, perhaps? Or something deeper. Then there's Nora Kemp, Celeste's understudy, a woman with hungry eyes and a smile too tight to be genuine. Nora idolized Celeste, or so she says, but Poirot catches her slipping. She didn't deserve that role, not after she stops, blushing, but the damage is done. Poirot learns Nora was once a rising star herself, until Celeste took her spot in a previous production. Jealousy is a powerful motive, and Nora's alibi was organizing props during the murder feels flimsy. Finally, Poirot meets Lord Edmund Harrow, the play's wealthy backer. His polished demeanor cracks when Poirot mentions the diamond earring. A gift, Harrow says curtly, from an admirer. But why was only one taken? Poirot suspects Harrow's interest in Celeste went beyond patronage, and a monogrammed handkerchief found near the dressing room, embroidered with EH, adds fuel to that fire. Now, let's talk clues. Poirot revisits the dressing room, where the spilled champagne and that red rose still haunt the scene. The faint almond-like scent suggests cyanide, a poison that works fast and leaves little trace. Poirot sends the glass to his friend, Inspector Japp, for analysis. But he's already thinking, who had access to Celeste's private stash of champagne? The rose is even more intriguing. A florist's tag, barely visible, reads from an admirer. Poirot discovers the theater received a delivery of roses daily, but only one was red, and it wasn't meant for Celeste. It was addressed to the theater itself. A mistake? Or a deliberate plant to throw off the trail? Poirot also finds a hidden compartment in Celeste's dressing table containing a locked diary. The lock is scratched, as if someone tried to force it open. What secrets did Celeste keep that someone wanted to uncover or destroy? Let's zoom out for a moment. Celeste's life was a stage of its own, and every player had a reason to resent. Victor's career depended on her success, but her demands pushed him to the edge. Julian's charm hid a wounded ego, perhaps from a rejected love. Nora's ambition simmered beneath her deference, and Harrow's wealth couldn't buy Celeste's loyalty. Poirot's method is simple but brilliant. He listens, observes, and lets the suspects reveal themselves. He notes their lies, their half-truths, and the way their hands shake when they speak her name. For us, this is a lesson in suspense. A good mystery doesn't just shake, it builds, layer by layer, until you're desperate for answers. Was Celeste's death about fame, Love? Or something she knew that threatened someone powerful? Closes his notebook, he murmurs. The past? It is never truly past, is it? He's right. Celeste's secrets are the key, and they're buried in her rise to stardom. Was she blackmailing someone? Did she uncover a scandal that could ruin a career or a fortune? The diary, the rose, the earring, they're pieces of a puzzle that's only starting to take shape. This chapter's wrapping up, but the suspense is just heating up. In Chapter 3, Poirot will crack open Celeste's diary and follow a trail to a shadowy figure from her past. Who was watching her from the wings, and what did they want? Don't miss it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay with us. Comment below. What do you think Celeste's diary will reveal? Let's keep unraveling this mystery together. Welcome back, mystery lovers, to Hercule Poirot's Deadly Star Case. If you're just joining us, you've stepped into a whirlwind of glamour and deceit. Hit that subscribe button and check out chapters 1 and 2 to catch up. Last time, we dove into the shadowy past of Celeste Varnay, the dazzling star found dead in her dressing room at the Adelphi Theater, a missing diamond earring, a spilled champagne glass hinting at cyanide, and a single red rose taunting us with its mystery. Hercule Poirot, our meticulous Belgian detective, has been peeling back the layers of Celeste's life, uncovering motives among suspects like the volatile director Victor Langston, the charming yet evasive leading man Julian Drake, the envious understudy Nora Kemp, and the enigmatic patron Lord Edmund Harrow. Now in Chapter 3, Poirot unlocks Celeste's hidden diary, revealing secrets that could point to her killer or put him in danger. Grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's unravel a tale where every page drips with suspense. Don't forget to like and comment your theories below. We find Poirot in a dimly lit corner of the theater's archive room, surrounded by dusty playbills and faded photographs. His gloved hands carefully handle Celeste's diary, its leather cover worn but elegant, the lock now pried open by Inspector Japp's locksmith's friend. Poirot's green eyes gleam with anticipation as he murmurs, "The heart of a woman, it speaks through her words, Nan." The diary is no ordinary journal. It's a window into Celeste's soul. It's filled with dreams, fears, and secrets she guarded even from those closest to her. As Poirot flips through the pages, the air grows thick with tension. Each entry is a clue, a snapshot of a life teetering on the edge of ruin. Let's dive into what he finds and how it tightens the noose around our suspects. The diary begins innocently enough, with Celeste Varnay writing about her early days in Yorkshire. She was a dreamer, sketching costumes and memorizing lines in a cramped attic. But ambition drove her to London, where she caught the eye of a talent scout named Marcus Gray. Here's where things get juicy. Marcus, a shadowy figure with a reputation for making stars, promised Celeste fame, but at a cost. An entry from 3 years ago reads, "Marcus says I owe him everything. Frightens me, but I can't say no, not yet." Poirot's mustache twitches. Who is Marcus Gray, and why does his name vanish from later entries? Poirot suspects he's still in the picture, perhaps lurking behind one of our suspects. A later entry mentions a terrible secret Celeste discovered about someone important during her rise to fame. She doesn't name them, but writes, "If they knew I knew, I'd never be safe." Was this secret the motive for her murder? Let's connect the dots. Poirot cross-references the diary with theater records and finds Marcus Gray was once a backer for Stardust Dreams, but pulled out after a falling out with Victor Langston. Could Victor's nervous demeanor hide a connection to Marcus? Poirot recalls the singed letter in Victor's pocket, perhaps a threat from Marcus or proof of their feud. Then there's Julian Drake. The diary reveals Celeste's fling with him, but it ended badly. "Julian thinks he owns me," she wrote, "but I won't be his puppet." A week before her death, she noted, "He's watching me again. I saw him outside my flat." Poirot's mind races. Was Julian's charm a mask for obsession? Nora Kemp's name appears too, with a chilling line. "Nora hates me. She thinks I stole her light, but she doesn't know the half of it." Did Nora uncover Celeste's secret and use it against her? Lord Harrow's role deepens too. The diary mentions E.H., giving Celeste the diamond earrings as a token of devotion, but she writes, his gifts come with chains. I want to give them back. Poirot wonders if Harrow's wealth and influence hid a darker control over Celeste. That monogrammed handkerchief near the dressing room E.H. takes on new weight. Was Harrow there that night, or is someone framing him? Poirot also finds a cryptic entry about the red rose. Another rose today. Always one, always red. It's him, I know it.
Ow.
No name, but the fear in her words is palpable, Poirot suspects. The roses were a message, perhaps from Marcus Gray, or another figure from her past. Someone who knew her secrets and wanted her silenced. Now, let's talk about the physical clues tying back to the diary. Poirot revisits the dressing room now. Cordoned off by police tape. The champagne glass, confirmed by Japp to contain traces of cyanide, suggests a deliberate act. But how was it delivered? The diary mentions Celeste's habit of sipping champagne before every performance, a ritual known to the cast. Anyone could have slipped poison into her private bottle, kept in a locked cabinet, except the lock was tampered with, scratches matching those on the diary. Poirot theorizes the killer tried to steal the diary first, perhaps to destroy evidence, but settled for murder when they couldn't crack the lock. The missing earring bothers him too. A thief would take both, so why one? He notices a tiny scratch on Celeste's ear, suggesting it was torn off in a struggle. Was the earring a trophy or a clue meant to mislead?
Ow.
Here's where Poirot's genius shines. He doesn't just read the diary. He feels its rhythm. The entries grow frantic in the weeks before her death, as if Celeste sensed danger closing in. I'm being watched, she wrote. The theater isn't safe anymore. Poirot visits the stage door where a grizzled doorman recalls a stranger. Loitering the night of the murder, a man in a dark coat, face hidden, who asked for Celeste but left when spotted. Poirot's mind whirs. Marcus Gray, perhaps? Or a hired hand? He also learns the red roses came from an unmarked florist, paid in cash, with no record of the sender. The trail is cold, but Poirot thrives on the impossible. He sketches a timeline. In his notebook, linking the diary's clues to the suspects' alibis, all shaky at best. Let's pause for a moment. Celeste's diary isn't just a book, it's a map of motives. Marcus's Gray's shadow looms large, a man who shaped her career but left scars. Victor's temper, Julian's obsession, Nora's envy, and Harrow's possessiveness all intertwine with her secrets. The cyanide, the rose, the earring, they're pieces of a puzzle, but the picture is still blurry. For us, this chapter teaches us how suspense builds through revelation. Every clue raises new questions. Who is Marcus Gray? And where is he now? What secret did Celeste hold that was worth killing for? Poirot's calm exterior hides a mind racing toward the truth. We're right there with him. Hooked as Poirot closes the diary, he murmurs the truth. It is like a star bright, but distant. We must chase it. He's ready to hunt for Marcus Gray and confront the suspects with their lies. In Chapter 4, we'll follow Poirot to a seedy London club where Celeste's past and present collide. And a new clue, a torn photograph, points to a shocking betrayal. Will it lead to the killer or deeper into the maze? Don't miss it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay with us. Comment below, who do you think sent the red roses, and what's their connection to Celeste's death? Let's keep digging into this deadly mystery together. We're deep in the heart of Hercule Poirot's deadly star case, and the plot is thickening like a London fog. If you missed the earlier chapters, pause now and catch up. Celeste Varnay, the radiant star of the Adelphi Theatre, lies dead. A victim of cyanide-laced champagne, her single diamond earring stolen, a mysterious red rose left as a taunting clue, and her diary revealing a life riddled with secrets. Hercule Poirot, with his razor-sharp mind and twirling mustache, has uncovered motives among a cast of suspects. Director Victor Langston, leading man Julian Drake, understudy Nora Kemp, and wealthy patron Lord Edmund Harrow. The diary pointed to a shadowy figure, Marcus Gray, who shaped Celeste's rise to fame, but left her fearing for her life. Now, in Chapter 4, Poirot ventures into the underbelly of London to a seedy club where Celeste's past and present collide. A torn photograph emerges as a new clue, pulling us deeper into a web of betrayal and danger. Let's follow Poirot's polished shoes into the shadows, where every glance and whisper could lead to the killer or a deadly trap. Stick with me and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your theories in the comments. Poirot steps out of a hansom cab onto a rain-slicked street in Soho, where neon signs flicker like promises in the dusk. The Raven's Nest, a dimly lit club tucked between a pawn shop and a boarded-up tailor, is not the kind of place you'd expect to find. The Elegant Detective, its faded velvet curtains and smoky air hum with secrets, the kind Celeste might have known too well. Poirot's here because of a lead from the diary, an entry mentioning the Raven, where Celeste met someone she called the Serpent just weeks before her death. "He knows what I did," she wrote, her handwriting shaky. "If I don't pay, he'll ruin me." Poirot's little gray cells are buzzing. This club holds answers, but it's also a place where questions can get you killed. As he adjusts his bow tie and steps inside, the air grows heavy with suspense. And we're right behind him, hearts pounding inside. The Raven's Nest is a world of low ceilings, flickering lamps and patrons who avoid eye contact. A jazz band plays a mournful tune, but the real music here is the whisper of secrets. Poirot, ever the observer, scans the room, a barman polishing glasses too carefully, a woman in a red dress watching him from a corner, a card game in the back where money changes hands too quickly. He's here to find Marcus Gray, the talent scout who launched Celeste's career, but left her terrified. The diary suggested Marcus was tied to the theater's funding, perhaps through Lord Harrow, and Poirot suspects he's the Serpent Celeste feared. But finding Marcus in this den of rogues is like chasing a ghost. Poirot starts with the barman, a wiry man named Tommy with a scar across his knuckles. "Never heard of Marcus Gray?" Tommy grunts, but his eyes flick to a door, marked private. Poirot smiles thin. Little eyes are as good as clues to him. Poirot's next move is to blend in. No easy task for a man in a pristine suit among Soho's rough crowd. He orders a Tessin herbal tea, to the barman's amusement and listens. Overhearing a conversation at the card table, he catches the name Celeste whispered with venom. Two men, one with a limp and a fedora pulled low, argue about a deal gone sour. Poirot edges closer, pretending to study a cigarette burn on his table. "She thought she could walk away," the limping man mutters. "Marcus, don't let go that easy." Bingo. Marcus Gray is not only real, but a player in this deadly game. Poirot's mind races. Was Marcus blackmailing Celeste? Did she owe him money, or something more dangerous, like silence? The diary's terrible secret looms larger. What did Celeste know that made her a threat? Then, a breakthrough. Poirot notices a bulletin board near the bar, covered in faded flyers and photographs. One catches his eye, a torn photo, its edges jagged, showing Celeste laughing with a man whose face is missing, ripped away. Only his hand is visible, gripping her arm, a signet ring glinting with the initials MG. Marcus Gray. Poirot slips the photo into his pocket, careful not to draw attention. The tear wasn't accidental, it's as if someone wanted to erase Marcus from Celeste's life, or hide his identity. But why leave the photo here in a club where secrets are currency? Poirot suspects it's a message or a mistake. He questions Tommy again, this time with a £5 note and a steely gaze. Tommy admits Marcus was a regular, always with big shots, but hasn't been seen since Celeste's death. "Heard he's gone underground," Tommy mumbles, then clams up when the woman in the red dress glares at him. Let's dive deeper into the suspects. Poirot revisits their connections to this club. Victor Langston, the director, once mentioned late-night meetings in Soho. Could he have crossed paths with Marcus here? The singed letter in Victor's pocket, which Poirot glimpsed earlier, might be a blackmail note from Marcus, tying him to Celeste's death. Julian Drake, the leading man, admitted to knowing people in Soho's nightlife. And the diary's mention of him watching Celeste suggests he frequented places like this. Was he spying for Marcus, or caught in his web? Nora Kemp's ambition makes her a wild card. Poirot learns from a stagehand that Nora was seen leaving the theater with a man matching Marcus's description weeks ago. Did she conspire with him to eliminate Celeste? And Lord Harrow, with his wealth and influence, could easily pull strings in a place like the Raven's Nest? His handkerchief, found near the crime scene, might place him here, perhaps meeting Marcus to silence Celeste's secret. The clues pile up, each one sharpening the suspense. The torn photograph is a bombshell, but it's not alone. Poirot finds a matchbook on the floor, its cover stamped with the Raven's Nest logo, and a phone number scrawled in red ink. Celeste's handwriting, he's sure. He pockets it, planning to trace the number later. The cyanide-laced champagne from the murder scene gnaws at him too. A waiter at the club mentions a special delivery of champagne to the theater the night Celeste died, ordered anonymously. Was it Marcus ensuring the poison reached her? The red rose, that haunting signature, takes on new meaning when Poirot learns the club's florist supplied red roses to an unnamed client, who paid in cash the same method used at the theater. Every clue points to Marcus Gray, but he's a phantom, and Poirot knows phantoms don't kill unless someone pulls their strings. Let's reflect on the art of suspense here. This chapter isn't just about clues, it's about atmosphere. The Raven's Nest feels alive, its shadows hiding truths Poirot must coax out. Every suspect's story intertwines with this place, making it a crucible for their motives. Gray emerges as a puppet master, but is he the killer or a scapegoat? The torn photograph, the matchbook, champagne delivering their threads in a tapestry of deceit, and Poirot's genius lies in weaving them together. For us, the audience, this is a masterclass in keeping viewers hooked. Introduce a new, setting a new player and a clue that flips the narrative. We're not just watching a mystery. We're living it, second-guessing every shadow. As Poirot steps back into the rain, clutching the photograph and matchbook, he murmurs, "The truth, it dances in the dark, but I shall find its rhythm." He's closer to Marcus Gray, but the danger is closer too. In Chapter 5, Poirot will track down that phone number and confront a suspect who's been lying from the start. A new clue, a hidden letter, will unravel a betrayal that could break the case wide open. Don't miss it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay with us. Comment below, who do you think Marcus Gray is working with? And what's in that torn photograph's missing half? Let's chase the truth together. We're plunging deeper into Hercule Poirot's deadly star case, where the murder of Celeste Varnay, the West End's brightest star, grows more tangled with every clue. If you're just tuning in, go back to the earlier chapters to catch the full suspenseful. Was found dead in her dressing room at the Adelphi Theater, poisoned by cyanide-laced champagne, a single diamond earring missing, a red rose left as a chilling signature, and her diary exposing a life of secrets. Hercule Poirot, our brilliant Belgian detective, has followed the trail from a shadowy Soho club, the Raven's Nest, where a torn photograph and a matchbook with Celeste's handwriting pointed to Marcus Gray, a mysterious figure from her past. Our suspect's director, Victor Langston, leading man Julian Drake, understudy Nora Kemp, and patron Lord Edmund Harrower, all entangled in this web of motives. Now, in Chapter 5, Poirot tracks a phone number from the matchbook to a confrontation that unearths a hidden letter, revealing a betrayal that could crack the case or lead him into a trap. Let's follow Poirot's meticulous steps as the suspense tightens like a noose. Keep those theories coming in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Poirot sits at a small, polished desk in his Baker Street flat, the morning, light filtering through lace curtains. The matchbook from the Raven's Nest lies before him, its scrawled phone number in Celeste's handwriting glowing like a beacon. His green eyes narrow as he dials the number, his fingers steady, despite the pulse of anticipation. The line crackles, and a gruff voice answers, a woman, cautious, who identifies herself as Mrs. Elsie Carter, a boarding house matron in Bloomsbury. Celeste? Haven't seen her in years, she says too quickly. Poirot's mustache twitches. Lies are his bread and butter. He arranges to visit, sensing Mrs. Carter knows more than she lets on. The matchbook's number isn't just a clue, it's a thread connecting Celeste's glamorous present to a past she tried to bury. As Poirot slips on his overcoat and grabs his cane, the stakes feel higher. Is he walking into answers or a setup? The boarding house is a crumbling relic. Its faded wallpaper and creaking stairs, a stark contrast to the Adelphi's glitz. Mrs. Carter, stout woman with wary eyes, greets Poirot with forced hospitality. She claims Celeste lived there briefly, when she was still Clara Vane, a struggling actress fresh from Yorkshire. A sweet girl, but ambitious, Mrs. Carter says, pouring tea with trembling hands. Poirot's charm disarms her, and he gently probes about Marcus Gray. Her face pales. That man, she mutters, always trouble. She admits Marcus visited Celeste here, often late at night, their voices hushed but angry. One night she overheard Celeste say, "I won't let you ruin me." Rose's mind sparks. Was Marcus blackmailing Celeste over her terrible secret from the diary? Mrs. Carter denies knowing more, but Poirot notices her glance at a locked drawer in her desk. He doesn't push yet, but files it away, his little gray cells humming. Then comes the breakthrough. As Poirot prepares to leave, he accidentally knocks over a stack of papers on Mrs. Carter's desk. Among them, hidden beneath a ledger, is an envelope. Its seal broken, but addressed to Celeste Varnay, dated a month before her death. The handwriting matches the singed letter he glimpsed in Victor Langston's pocket. Poirot, with a magician's sleight of hand, pockets the letter while distracting Mrs. Carter with questions about the weather. Back in his flat, he opens it. Under lamplight, and the words hit like a thunderbolt. It's from Marcus Gray, and it's no love note. "You think you can walk away, Clara? I know what you did. Pay me, or the world knows too." The amount demanded, £5,000, is staggering, enough to ruin even a star like Celeste. The letter ends with a chilling line, "The roses will keep coming until you do." Poirot leans back, his mind racing. The red rose at the crime scene wasn't a tribute, was a threat. Let's weave the clues together. This letter ties Marcus Gray directly to Celeste's fear and possibly her murder. The red roses, sent daily to the theater and found at the Raven's Nest, were his signature, a reminder of her dead. But how does this connect to the cyanide, the missing earring, or the torn photograph? Poirot revisits the suspect's motives. With this new lens, Victor Langston's singed letter might be a duplicate of this one, suggesting he was either in league with Marcus or another target of his schemes. Why was Victor so nervous? Did he know about the blackmail and help Marcus? Poison Celeste to protect the play's success. Julian Drake's obsession with Celeste, hinted at in her diary, could mean he was jealous of Marcus's hold over her. Did he confront her that night, leading to a fatal struggle? Nora Kemp's connection to Marcus, spotted leaving the theater. With him grows darker. Did she help him deliver the poison to eliminate her rival? And Lord Harrow, with his wealth, could have paid Marcus to silence Celeste if her secret threatened his reputation. That monogrammed handkerchief near the dressing room looms larger now. The physical evidence sharpens the puzzle. Poirot recalls the champagne bottle. It's lock tampered with, just like Celeste's diary. He suspects Marcus had access to the theater, perhaps through a mole among the cast. The torn photograph from the Raven's Nest, showing Marcus's hand and signet ring, suggests someone tried to erase his presence. But who? Rowe visits Inspector Japp, who confirms the cyanide was a rare type, available only through underground channels like those Marcus might control. The missing earring gnaws at Poirot. A jeweler friend reveals the earrings were custom-made for Lord Harrow. It's worth £10,000. Taking one but not both feels personal, not greedy, a message, perhaps, or a distraction. Poirot also traces the matchbook's phone number to a public call box near the theater, used the night of the murder. Someone called Mrs. Carter from their Marcus, or a go-between. Let's zoom out for suspense's sake. This chapter is a turning point, where the mystery shifts from questions to connections. The hidden letter reveals Marcus Gray as a blackmailer, but is he the killer, or a puppet for someone else? Each suspect's alibi crumbles under scrutiny. Victor was backstage, Julian was rehearsing, Nora was with props, and Harrow was in his box seat but slipped away during the intermission. Poirot's method is to let the clues speak, and they're screaming now. The letter, the roses, the cyanide, they point to a calculated plan, but the earring and photograph suggest passion or panic. For us, this is suspense at its finest. Every answer bursts new questions, keeping us glued to the edge of our seats. Who was Celeste protecting by not naming her blackmailer? Why was the letter at Mrs. Carter's, and what else is she hiding? Poirot folds the letter, his face grim. The truth? It is a house of mirrors, he murmurs. Each reflection distorts, but I shall find the source. He's ready to confront the suspects with this letter, starting with Victor, who's singed. Paper might hold the key. In Chapter 6, Poirot will stage a dramatic gathering at the theater, where a new clue, a dropped glove, will expose a lie that brings him closer to the killer. The danger is real now, as someone watches Poirot's every move. Don't miss it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay with us. Comment below, who do you think wrote that letter, and what secret was Celeste hiding? Let's unravel this deadly star case together. We're racing deeper into the labyrinth of Hercule Poirot's deadly star case, where the murder of Celeste Varnay, the West End's radiant star, grows ever more sinister. If you're new here, dive into the previous chapters to catch the full. Celeste was poisoned with cyanide-laced champagne in her dressing room at the Adelphi Theater. A single diamond earring missing, a red rose left as a haunting clue, and her diary exposing a life tangled in secrets. Hercule Poirot, our sharp-eyed Belgian detective, has followed the trail from a seedy Soho club to a blackmail letter from Marcus Gray, a shadowy figure who threatened Celeste over a terrible secret. Our suspect's director, Victor Langston, leading man Julian Drake, understudy Nora Kemp, and patron Lord Edmund Harrower, all caught in this web, their alibis fraying. In Chapter 5, Poirot found a hidden letter that confirmed Marcus's blackmail, but raised new questions about who delivered the poison. Now in Chapter 6, Poirot stages a dramatic gathering at the theater, where a dropped glove exposes a lie that brings him closer to the killer, but also closer to danger. Let's step into the spotlight with Poirot, where every shadow hides a truth, and every truth hides a threat. Keep your theories coming in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. The Adelphi Theater looms silent in the early evening. Its chandeliers dimmed, the stage bare except for a single spotlight, casting a stark circle of light. Poirot has summoned the suspects Victor, Julian, Nora, and Lord Harrow to the auditorium, along with Inspector Japp and a nervous stagehand, Alfie, who claims he saw nothing the night of the murder. Poirot stands center stage, his small frame, commanding the room like a maestro. Mes amis, he begins, his voice smooth but edged with steel. Crime has been committed, and the truth, it hides among you. He holds up the blackmail letter from Marcus Gray, watching their faces for a flicker of guilt. The air crackles with tension, as if the theater itself holds its breath. Poirot's plan is bold. Confront the suspects together, let their reactions, betray them, and unveil a new clue he's been keeping closer. Silk glove found near the dressing room. It's overlooked until now. Let's set the scene. Victor Langston fidgets in the front row, his fingers twisting a cigarette he can't light. Julian Drake leans back, his charming smile strained, his eyes darting to the exits. Nora Kemp sits rigid, her hands clasped so tightly her knuckles are white. Lord Harrow, impeccably dressed, grips his cane, his jaw tight, as Poirot mentions. The letter, Poirot says, pacing the stage, tells us Mademoiselle Varnay was blackmailed. Someone knew her secret, and someone ensured her silence. He pauses, letting the words sink in. Then with a flourish, he produces the glove, pale blue silk, delicate but stained with a faint smudge of grease paint. This was found near the dressing room door, he declares. It belongs to the killer, or to someone who knows more than they say. The suspects shift uncomfortably, and Poirot's green eyes miss nothing. The glove is a bombshell. Poirot explains he found it tucked behind a prop trunk, missed by the police in their initial sweep. It's women's size small with a subtle monogram. N.K. Nora Kemp gasps, her face paling. "That's not mine," she protests, but her voice trembles. Poirot raises an eyebrow. "Then why, mademoiselle, does it bear your initials?" He doesn't accuse her outright. His method is to plant seeds of doubt, letting the guilty unravel themselves. Nora stammers that she lost a pair of gloves weeks ago, but Poirot counters with a receipt he found in the theater's costume department, dated the day before the murder, for a new pair of blue silk gloves purchased by Nora. The audience cess-files. The suspense tighten. Is Nora the killer, or is someone framing her? Poirot shifts focus, asking Victor about the singed letter in his pocket. Victor admits it's from Marcus Gray, demanding payment for debts, but swears it's unrelated. To Celeste. His sweat betrays him. Let's dive into the suspect's reactions. Julian Drake, ever the actor, tries to deflect with charm. "Gloves, everyone wears them backstage," he says, but Poirot notes his hand trembling as he lights a cigarette. Julian's diary entries about watching Celeste take on new weight. Did he see something that night or do something? Poirot presses him about his whereabouts during the intermission, and Julian claims he was in the green room, alone. Alfie, the stagehand, hesitantly contradicts him, recalling Julian near the dressing rooms. Julian's smile falters, and Poirot jots a note. Lord Harrow, meanwhile, remains composed, but his grip on his cane tightens when Poirot mentions the diamond earring. A gift, nothing more, Harrow insists, but Poirot reveals the jeweler's report. The earring was insured for £10,000, and Harrow recently increased the policy. A coincidence or a motive? The monogrammed handkerchief found near the crime scene now screams suspicion. The cyanide puzzle deepens. Inspector Japp shares new findings. The poison was mixed into Celeste's champagne bottle, not the glass, meaning the killer had access to her private stash before the show. Poirot recalls the tampered lock on the cabinet, matching scratches on Celeste's diary. He suspects the killer planned the murder meticulously, but the glove suggests a moment of carelessness. Was it dropped in haste during a struggle? Poirot revisits the red rose, its florist tag linking back to the raven's nest. He reveals a new lead. The florist identified a man matching Marcus Gray's description, tall, sharp-featured with a signet ring ordering the roses. But Marcus paid through a middleman, a name Poirot hasn't shared yet. The torn photograph from the club, showing Marcus's hand, now feels like a deliberate clue left to mislead or to point to someone else. Let's connect the dots. The glove implicates Nora, but its discovery feels too convenient. Is she being framed, or did she slip up? Victor's singed letter ties him to Marcus, but his fear suggests he's a pawn, not a mastermind. Julian's shaky alibi and obsessive behavior make him a wild card. Did he act out of jealousy, or was he protecting Celeste from Marcus? Wealth and control over Celeste hint at a man who eliminates threats, but his calm demeanor is unnerving. Poirot's genius lies in his patience. He doesn't accuse, but observes, letting the suspect's lies clash. The letter, the glove, the rose, the earring, they're pieces of a mosaic, but the killer's face is still blurred. For us, this chapter is suspense at its peak, a confrontation that reveals as much as it hides, keeping us guessing who's playing who. Poirot steps off the stage, the spotlight fading. "The truth, it is like a glove," he murmurs. "It fits only one hand, but many may try to wear it." He's closer to the killer, but the theater feels like a trap now, its shadows watching him. In Chapter 7, Poirot will track the middleman who ordered the roses, leading to a confrontation with Marcus Gray himself. A new clue, a bloodstained scarf, will shift the case in a shocking direction. Don't miss it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay with us. Comment below. Who do you think dropped the glove, and is Nora guilty or framed? Let's keep chasing the truth in this deadly star case. We're neck-deep in the twisting mystery of Hercule Poirot's deadly star case, where every clue pulls us closer to the truth and deeper into danger. If you're new to this tale, go back to the earlier chapters to unravel the full suspense. Celeste Varnay, the West End's shining star, was poisoned with cyanide-laced champagne in her dressing room at the Adelphi Theatre. A single diamond earring stolen, a red rose left as a taunting signature, and her diary revealing a life shadowed by secrets. Hercule Poirot, our brilliant Belgian detective, has been chasing leads from a seedy Soho club to a blackmail letter from Marcus Gray, a phantom from Celeste's past. Our suspect's director Victor Langston, leading man Julian Drake, understudy Nora Kemp, and patron Lord Edmund Harrowar, tangled in lies, their alibis crumbling. In Chapter 6, Poirot's dramatic theater confrontation unveiled a silk glove monogrammed with Nora's initials, but raised questions of a frame-up. Now, in Chapter 7, Poirot tracks the middleman behind the red roses, leading to a face-to-face with Marcus Gray himself. A new clue, a blood-stained scarf, turns the case upside down, hinting at a violent struggle. Let's follow Poirot into a fog-choked London night where the killer's shadow is closer than ever. Drop your theories in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. Poirot stands in a narrow alley behind the Raven's Nest, the Soho club where secrets fester like damp rot. The air is thick with fog, muffling the clatter of distant cabs and the faint jazz spilling from the club's back door. He clutches a note from the florist, who confessed the red roses were ordered through a middleman named Reggie Walsh, a lowlife known for running errands for men like Marcus Gray. The note lists an address: derelict warehouse near the Thames where Reggie was last seen. Poirot's polished shoes splash through puddles as he approaches, his cane tapping a steady rhythm, but his eyes are sharp, scanning for danger. The truth, it hides in the places we fear to look, he murmurs, gripping the matchbook with Celeste's handwriting, its phone number now linked to Reggie's haunt. This warehouse is no coincidence. It's a lair for secrets. And Poirot's ready to drag them into the light. Inside, the warehouse is a cavern of rust and shadows, crates stacked like tombstones under flickering gaslight. Reggie Walsh, a wiry man with a ferret-like face, freezes when he sees Poirot. "I ain't done nothin'," he squeaks, but his hands betray him, stuffing a bundle into his coat. Poirot, calm as ever, twirls his mustache and asks about Marcus Gray. Reggie's eyes dart to a trapdoor in the floor, and Poirot knows he's struck gold. After a bit of coaxing and a discreet bribe, Reggie admits he delivered the red roses to the theater for Marcus, paid in cash with instructions to keep Celeste scared. But there's more. Reggie saw Marcus at the theater the night of the murder, arguing with someone in the alley. Couldn't see who, Reggie mutters. But they was mad Chauvin shouting. Poirot's mind races. Was Marcus confronting Celeste, or one of the suspects? Before Reggie can say more, a sharp clatter echoes from the trapdoor. That's when Poirot finds it, a blood-stained scarf, half hidden under a crate near the trapdoor. It's silk, crimson, with a faint scent of lavender, Celeste's favorite perfume. The blood is dry, speckled across the fabric like a grim constellation, and a single thread catches Poirot's eye. It matches the blue silk of Nora's glove. His heart quickens. Was this scarf at the crime scene overlooked in the chaos? Poirot pockets it, noting a tiny rip as if caught on something sharp, perhaps the missing earring. He presses Reggie, who swears he didn't touch it, but admits Marcus was in a state that night, muttering about finishing it. Poirot's little gray cells hum. The scarf suggests a struggle, but whose blood is it? Celeste's, from a fight before the poison took hold, or someone else's. Caught in the act? Let's tie this to the suspects. Poirot tracks Marcus Gray to a dingy flat above a pawn shop, guided by Reggie's reluctant tip. Marcus is every bit the serpent Celeste described. Tall, sharp-featured, with cold eyes, and a signet ring glinting. MG, he denies killing Celeste, but admits to blackmailing her. She owed me, he sneers. I made her a star, and she thought she could cut me out. He claims Celeste was about to pay him £5,000 to keep her secret a scandal involving a forged contract that launched her career. Implicating a powerful figure. Marcus won't name them, but Poirot suspects Lord Harrow, whose wealth backed Celeste's early shows. The scarf Marcus claims isn't his, but his smirk suggests he knows more. Poirot notes Marcus's coat, torn at the cuff. Could it have snagged on Celeste's earring during a struggle? Back to the suspect's motives. Victor Langston's singed letter, matching Marcus's blackmail note, implies he was either complicit or another victim. Poirot learns Victor owed Marcus's money for gambling debts paid through theater funds. Did Victor poison Celeste to appease Marcus? Julian Drake's obsession with Celeste, detailed in her diary, takes a darker turn. Reggie saw a man matching Julian's description near the theater that night, watching from the shadows. Was Julian protecting Celeste, or stalking her for? Marcus Nora Kemp's glove, now linked to the scarf's thread, screams guilt. But her shaky alabishi was with props crumbles when Alfie, the stagehand, recalls seeing her near Celeste's dressing room. Lord Harrow's handkerchief and increased insurance on the earrings point to a man covering his tracks. But the scarf's lavender scent ties it to Celeste. Not him. Or does it? The clues weave a tighter net. The bloodstained scarf suggests a physical struggle before the cyanide, contradicting the idea of a clean poisoning. Poirot sends it to Inspector Japp, who confirms the blood is human, but tests will take time. The cyanide bottle's tampered lock aligns with Marcus's access to the theater, but the scarf's presence in the warehouse points to a second player. The torn photograph from the raven's nest, showing Marcus's hand, now feels like a red herring planted to distract from the real killer. The red roses ordered through Reggie were Marcus's psychological weapon, but the scarf's rip and blood suggest a moment of panic. Poirot revisits the earring. Its scratch on Celeste's ear indicates it was torn off, perhaps caught in the scarf during a fight. Was the earring taken to frame someone, or as a trophy? This chapter's suspense lies in its chaos. The warehouse, with its trapdoor and shadows, mirrors the case's complexity. Every clue points to Marcus, but he's too slippery to be the sole culprit. The scarf shifts the narrative. This wasn't just poison, but violence, suggesting a killer driven by rage or desperation. Poirot's genius is in his calm sifting through lies to find patterns. For us, the audience, it's a roller coaster. The scarf's blood, Marcus's smirk, the suspect's fraying alibis, they keep us guessing who fought Celeste that night and whose blood stains the scarf. Is Marcus the mastermind or a pawn in a bigger game? Poirot steps back into the fog, the scarf in his pocket, his face grim. The truth, it bleeds like a wound, he murmurs. But I shall bind it. He's ready to test the suspects again, this time with the scarf as his weapon. In Chapter 8, Poirot will uncover a hidden witness who saw the alley argument, and a new clue, a broken watch, will pinpoint the time of the murder. The killer's mask is slipping, but so is Poirot's safety. Don't miss it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay with us. Comment below whose blood is on the scarf and what's Marcus hiding. Let's keep unraveling this deadly star case. We're hurtling toward the climax of Hercule Poirot's deadly star case, where the murder of Celeste Varnay, the West End's dazzling star, grows darker with every revelation. If you're just joining, dive into the earlier chapters to grasp the full suspense. Celeste was poisoned with cyanide-laced champagne in her dressing room at the Adelphi Theater. A single diamond earring stolen, a red rose left as a chilling clue, and her diary exposing a life steeped in secrets. Hercule Poirot, our meticulous Belgian detective, has chased leads from a seedy Soho club to a blackmail letter from Marcus Gray, a shadowy figure who terrorized Celeste. Our suspect's director, Victor Langston, leading man Julian Drake, understudy. Nora Kemp and patron Lord Edmund Harrower, unraveling under Poirot's scrutiny. Their alibis weakened by a silk glove and a bloodstained scarf. In Chapter 7, Poirot confronted Marcus in a grim warehouse, where the scarf hinted at a violent struggle. Now in Chapter 8, Poirot uncovers a hidden witness to an alley argument and finds a broken watch that pinpoints the murder's timeline, edging him closer to the killer, but also into their crosshairs. Let's follow Poirot through London's fog, where time is running out and danger lurks in every shadow. Share your theories in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Poirot stands in his Baker Street flat, the blood-stained scarf spread on his desk under a magnifying glass. Its crimson silk and lavender sent a haunting echo of Celeste. The warehouse encounter with Marcus Gray confirmed his role as a blackmailer, but his slippery denial of murder leaves Poirot uneasy. The scarf's blood still awaiting lab results, and its torn thread matching Nora's glove suggests a struggle. But whose? Poirot's little gray cells churn as he reviews the matchbook's phone number, which led to Mrs. Carter's boarding house and the blackmail letter. A new lead emerges from Inspector Japp. A street vendor, Old Meg, who sells chestnuts outside the theater, claims she saw an argument in the alley the night Celeste died. Two shadows shouting something fierce, she told Japp, but fear kept her silent until now. Poirot, cane in hand, heads to the theater alley, determined to coax the truth from Meg and find the next piece of the puzzle. The alley behind the Adelphi is a narrow slit of cobblestones, reeking of damp and refuse, the fog curling like a living thing. Old Meg, a hunched figure wrapped in a shawl, roasts chestnuts over a brazier, her eyes sharp despite her age. Poirot, ever the gentleman, buys a bag of chestnuts and eases into questions. Meg's reluctant but warms to his charm. She saw, too, figures in the alley around 9:45 p.m., just before the play's final act. One was a man, tall, with a fancy ring shinin in the lamplight, she says, matching Marcus Gray's description. The other, couldn't tell. Too dark, but they wore a long coat, maybe a woman. They argued about money and promises, and Meg heard a crash, like glass breaking. Poirot's pulse quickens, the cyanide-laced champagne bottle perhaps. Meg scurries off when he presses for more, but not before pointing to a pile of debris where she heard the crash. There, half buried in the alley's muck, Poirot finds it, a broken pocket watch, its face shattered. It's frozen at 9:47 p.m. Watch is silver, engraved with the initials J.D. Julian Drake. Poirot's mind whirs. Julian claimed he was in the green room during the intermission, but this watch places him in the alley. He's possibly arguing with Marcus Gray. The broken glass suggests a struggle, perhaps linked to the scarf's blood. Poirot examines the watch closely. A single drop of blood speckles its chain, and a scratch on the case matches the sharp edge of Celeste's missing earring. Was Julian in the alley with Marcus, or with Celeste herself? Poirot pockets the watch, knowing it's a key to the murder's timeline, but also a beacon drawing the killer's attention. The fog seems to thicken, as if warning him to tread carefully. Let's weave the clues into the suspect web. Julian Drake's watch is damning, contradicting his alibi and tying him to the alley argument. His diary entries about watching Celeste, combined with Meg's sighting, paint him as obsessive, perhaps violent. Did he confront Marcus over the blackmail, or attack Celeste in a jealous rage? Victor Langston's singed letter and gambling debts to Marcus suggest he was desperate. To keep secrets buried, Poirot learns from Alfie, the stagehand, that Victor was seen near the alley that night, checking props but sweating profusely. Nora Kemp's glove, linked to the scarf's thread, keeps her in the frame. But her claim of losing it feels flimsier. Noelfie recalls her wearing blue gloves that evening. Lord Harrow's handkerchief and insured earrings point to a man with much to lose. Poirot discovers Harrow was absent from his box seat at 9:45 p.m., claiming he was taking a call. Was he the second figure in the alley, or is someone planting clues to frame him? The physical evidence sharpens the suspense. The broken watch sets the murder between 9:45 and 10 p.m. When Celeste was found dead after the final curtain, the cyanide, Japp confirms, took minutes to act, meaning the poison was administered just before her performance ended. The scarf's blood, now identified as Celeste's, suggests she fought her attacker, perhaps tearing the earring off in the struggle. The red rose, ordered by Marcus through Reggie Walsh, was found in her dressing room post-mortem. Did the killer place it there, or was it Marcus's final taunt? The torn photograph from the raven's nest showing Marcus's ring aligns with Meg's description. But its deliberate rip hints at a cover-up. Poirot suspects the alley argument wasn't the murder itself, but a prelude, setting the stage. For the fatal act, let's zoom out for the suspense. This chapter crackles with tension, the fog-choked alley. Old Meg's fearful whispers and the broken watch create a ticking clock, literally and figuratively. Poirot's confrontation with Marcus exposed a blackmailer, but the watch shifts focus to Julian, while the scarf keeps Nora and Harrow in play. Victor's desperation adds another layer, making every suspect a potential killer or pawn. The mystery thrives on ambiguity. Was the watch dropped in a fight, or planted to mislead? Whose coat did Meg see? Poirot's genius lies in his precision, piecing together timelines and motives while dodging the killer's gaze. For us, it's a masterclass in suspense. Every clue raises the stakes, making us question who we trust. Poirot slips the watch into his pocket, the fog swallowing his silhouette. Time, it betrays the guilty, he murmurs. But it also hunts the hunter. He's ready to confront Julian about the watch. But the killer's watching and the net is tightening. In Chapter 9, Poirot will gather the suspects for a final revelation, where a new clue, a hidden note in Celeste's costume, will expose a motive that ties all the threads together. The truth is close, but so is danger. Don't miss it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. To stay with us, comment below. Who was in the alley with Marcus and whose coat did Meg see? Let's unravel this deadly star case together. We're teetering on the edge of revelation in Hercule Poirot's deadly star case, where the murder of Celeste Varnay, the West End's luminous star, is unraveling into a tapestry of deceit and danger. If you're just joining us, dive into the earlier chapters to catch the full suspense. Celeste was poisoned with cyanide-laced champagne in her dressing room at the Adelphi Theater. A single diamond earring stolen, a red rose left as a taunting clue, and her diary exposing a life riddled with secrets. Hercule Poirot, our sharp-minded Belgian detective, has chased leads from a seedy Soho club to a blackmail letter from Marcus Gray, a shadowy figure who terrorized Celeste. Our suspects director Victor Langston, leading man Julian Drake, understudy Nora Kemp, and patron Lord Edmund Harrower, crumbling under Poirot's scrutiny. Their alibis pierced by a silk glove, a blood-stained scarf, and a broken watch. In Chapter 8, Poirot found the watch, marked with Julian's initials. In an alley, where a witness saw an argument, pinning the murder's timeline. Now, in Chapter 9, Poirot gathers the suspects for a final confrontation, where a hidden note in Celeste's costume unveils a motive that ties every clue together, bringing him face to face with the killer's desperation. Let's step into the Adelphi spotlight one last time, where the truth is about to take center stage, but so is danger. Drop your theories in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. The Adelphi Theater's auditorium is a cathedral of shadows, its velvet seats empty, the stage lit by a single chandelier, casting eerie flickers across the gilded walls. Poirot has summoned the suspects, Victor, Julian, Nora, and Lord Harrowlong, with Inspector Japp and the nervous stagehand Alfie, to this final gathering. He stands at the edge of the stage, his small frame radiating authority, his green eyes glinting like polished jade. Mes amis, he begins, his voice a velvet blade. The murder of Mademoiselle Varnay is no longer a mystery of shadows. The truth, it is here, among us. He holds up the broken watch, its shattered face reflecting Julian's pale expression. Then the blood-stained scarf, its lavender scent tying it to Celeste. The suspects shift uneasily, their faces a gallery of fear, guilt, and defiance. Poirot's plan is to push them to the breaking point, revealing a new clue, a note hidden in Celeste's costume that will expose the motive behind her death. The air hums with suspense, as if the theater itself knows the killer is cornered. Poirot begins with the watch, its hands frozen at 9:47 p.m., placing Julian in the alley during the murder's timeline. Monsieur Drake, Poirot says, his tone deceptively mild. You said you were in the green room, yet this watch with your initials was found where an argument raged. Julian's charm cracks, his voice sharp as he insists. It was stolen. I lost it days before. But Poirot counters with Alfie's testimony, who saw Julian near the dressing rooms, not the green room. The scarf with Celeste's blood and a thread matching Nora's glove draws a gasp from the understudy. I told you I lost those gloves. Nora cries, but Poirot reveals the costume department's receipt, proving she bought them the day before the murder. Victor, sweating, stammers about his singed letter from Marcus Gray, claiming it was about gambling debts, not murder. Harrow, his cane tapping nervously, dismisses the monogrammed handkerchief as a coincidence. But Poirot notes his absence from his box seat at 9:45 p.m., confirmed by a usher. Then comes the bombshell. Poirot produces a folded note, creased and slightly torn. Found sewn into the hem of Celeste's costume, a glittering gown worn in Stardust Dreams' final act. This, he declares, was hidden where only the killer would think to look. The note in Celeste's handwriting is a desperate plea. If I die, it's because I know the truth about the contract. They'll kill to keep it secret. No name, but the word contract echoes Marcus Gray's blackmail letter, which mentioned a forged document that launched Celeste's career. Poirot's mind races. The contract tied to a powerful figure was Celeste's leverage on her. Death sentence. The note's hiding place suggests she feared for her life, sewing it into her costume as a last act of defiance. The suspects' faces betray them. Victor's eyes widen, Julian's jaw clenches, Nora's hands tremble, and Harrow's cane stops mid-tap. Let's unravel the clues. The note ties directly to Marcus Gray's blackmail, but Poirot suspects he wasn't acting alone. The forged contract, he learns from theater records, was for Celeste's first major role, funded by Lord Harrow's company. Did Harrow forge it to boost Celeste only to face exposure? The scarf's blood confirmed as Celeste suggests a struggle before the cyanide, likely in the dressing room where the earring was torn off. The watch places Julian at the scene, but its broken state smashed.
Stop him.
It was dropped in haste, not planted. The red rose, ordered by Marcus through Reggie Walsh, was placed post-mortem, a taunt or a distraction. The glove, monogrammed with Nora's initials, feels too obvious. But her weak alibi she was organizing props crumbles further. When Alfie recalls her handling Celeste's costume that night, Victor's singed letter and debts to Marcus's point to coercion, but his backstage access made poisoning the champagne easy. Harrow's handkerchief and insured earrings suggest a man protecting his empire, but his calm demeanor hides a calculating mind. The timeline sharpens. The watch's 9:47 p.m. mark aligns with old Meg's alley argument just before Celeste's final act. The cyanide, Jap confirms, was fast-acting, meaning it was slipped into her champagne bottle between 9:30 and 9:45 p.m. when she was on stage. The scarf's blood and ripped earring indicate a struggle, likely after her performance when she returned to her dressing room. Poirot theorizes the killer poisoned the champagne, then confronted Celeste, leading to a fight where the earring was torn and the scarf bloodied. The note in the costume, hidden so carefully, suggests Celeste expected betrayal, but from whom? Marcus Gray, with his signet ring and blackmail, is the obvious culprit. But his absence since the murder hints at a deeper conspiracy. Was he working with one of the suspects, or was he a scapegoat? Let's amplify the suspense. This chapter is a pressure cooker, the theater's eerie silence, the suspect's fraying nerves, and the note's cryptic warning create a sense of impending doom. Poirot's confrontation isn't just a reveal, it's a trap, designed to make the killer flinch. The note's mention of a contract ties all clues: letter, scarf, watch, glove, rose into a motive. Someone killed Celeste to bury a secret that could ruin them for us, the audience. It's a heart-pounding ride, every suspect's reaction screams guilt. But Poirot's calm masks a storm of deductions. The mystery thrives on doubt. Is Julian's watch a clue or a plant? Is Nora's glove a frame-up? Does Harrow's wealth hide a killer's heart? We're hooked, desperate for the final piece. Poirot steps into the spotlight, the note in his hand. The truth, it is sewn into the fabric of lies, he murmurs. One of you holds the needle. He's ready to name the killer, but a creak from the balcony warns him someone's watching, and they're not alone. In Chapter 10, Poirot will unveil the killer in a final twist, where a forgotten mirror reflects the truth in a way no one expects. The case will close, but not without a cost. Don't miss it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay with us. Comment below. Who do you think the notes he is, and what's the contract secret? Let's unravel this deadly star case together. We've reached the heart-pounding finale of Hercule Poirot's Deadly Star Case, where the murder of Celeste Varnay, the West End's brightest star, comes to a shattering close. If you're just joining us, dive into the earlier chapters too. Unravel the full suspense. Celeste was found dead in her dressing room at the Adelphi Theatre, poisoned by cyanide-laced champagne, a single diamond earring missing, a red rose left as a chilling clue, and her diary revealing a life shadowed by secrets. Hercule Poirot, our brilliant Belgian detective, has chased a trail of clues through a seedy Soho club, a blackmail letter from Marcus Gray, a bloodstained scarf, a broken watch, and a hidden note in Celeste's costume, narrowing down a cast of suspects: director Victor Langston, leading man Julian Drake, understudy Nora Kemp, and patron Lord Edmund Harrow. In Chapter 9, Poirot's tense theater confrontation unveiled the costume note, pointing to a forged contract as the motive, but left the killer's identity just out of reach. Now, in Chapter 10, Poirot unveils the murderer in a final breathtaking twist, where a forgotten cracked mirror reflects the truth in a way no one expects. Let's step into the Adelphi's final act, where Poirot's little gray cells lay bare a killer's heart, and the cost of truth is higher than anyone imagined. Stay with me, share your final theories in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. The Adelphi Theater's stage is a silent battlefield, its velvet curtains drawn back like a held breath. Poirot stands center stage, his small frame dwarfed by the towering proscenium, but radiating unshakable authority. The suspects Victor, Julian, Nora, and Lord Harrow in the front row, their faces pale under the chandelier's flickering light. Inspector Japp stands by the aisle, his notebook ready, while Alfie, the stagehand, hovers nervously near the wings. The air is thick with anticipation, every creak of the old theater amplifying the tension. Poirot holds the hidden note from Celeste's costume, its words, "If I die, it's because I know the truth about the contract burning." In his hand, he also clutches the blood-stained scarf, the broken watch, and the silk glove. Each clue, a piece of the puzzle he's about to complete. "Mies Amos," he begins, his voice calm but piercing. "The murder of Mademoiselle Varnay was no act of passion. It was a calculated performance. And tonight, the curtain falls on the killer." A faint clatter from the balcony, a dropped prop, or a watcher, makes everyone flinch, but Poirot's eyes never waver. Poirot starts with the timeline, his voice weaving the clues into a tapestry. The broken watch marked JD, stopped at 9:47 p.m., places Julian Drake in the alley where old Meg saw an argument. Cyanide fast-acting was slipped into Celeste's champagne bottle between 9:30 and 9:45 p.m., just before her final act. The blood-stained scarf with Celeste's blood and a thread matching Nora's glove suggests a struggle. In the dressing room, where the earring was torn off, the red rose, ordered by Marcus Gray through Reggie Walsh, was placed post-mortem, a taunt tied to his blackmail. The note in the costume, Poirot reveals, points to a forged contract that launched Celeste's career, a secret worth killing for. But he says, his mustache twitching, the truth, it hides in reflection. He steps to a prop table and lifts a cracked dressing room mirror, its surface splintered, but still gleaming. This mirror, overlooked by all, saw the murder, and it will name the killer. Let's unravel the clues one by one. Poirot begins with Marcus Gray, the blackmailer whose letter demanded £5,000 to keep Celeste's forged contract secret. Marcus, with his signet ring and red roses, terrorized Celeste. But Poirot reveals he's not the killer. Monsieur Gray was in the alley, yes, arguing with another, Poirot says, nodding to old Meg's testimony. But he fled before the murder, his cowardice, his alibi. Reggie Walsh confirmed Marcus left London that night, his flat now empty. Poirot turns to Victor Langston, whose singed letter tied him to Marcus's gambling debts. "You, Monsieur Langston, were desperate," Poirot says. Victor admits he siphoned theater funds to pay Marcus, but swears he didn't kill Celeste. His nervous sweat and backstage access made him a suspect, but Poirot notes his singed letter was a plea for time, not a murder plot. Victor slumps, relieved, but broken next. Julian Drake, the broken watch found in the alley, screams guilt, and his diary entries about watching Celeste paint him as obsessive. "You lied about the green room, Monsieur Drake," Poirot accuses, holding up the watch. Julian stammers that he argued with Marcus in the alley, trying to protect Celeste from blackmail. "I loved her," he blurts, tears in his eyes. But Poirot reveals the watch's blood drop matches Celeste's, suggesting Julian was in the dressing room, not just the alley. Julian admits to confronting Celeste after the show, begging her to run away with him, but denies killing her. Earrings scratch, Poirot notes, could have come from a struggle with Julian. Oh, but the mirror will tell more. Nora Kemp's glove, monogrammed and linked to the scarf, is damning. "You, Mademoiselle Kemp, envied Celeste," Poirot says, his voice sharp. Nora's alibi was organizing props, fell apart when Alfie saw her near the dressing room. The costume receipt for her gloves, bought the day before, tightens the noose. Nora sobs, claiming someone stole her gloves to frame her. But Poirot reveals a new detail. The costume note was sewn with thread from the theater's sewing kit, which Nora used daily. Did she hide the note to deflect suspicion, or find it too late? Her trembling hands betray her, but Poirot's gaze shifts to Lord Harrow. Lord Harrow, with his monogrammed handkerchief and insured earrings, is a tower of composure. "Your wealth, Monsieur Harrow, funded the forged contract," Poirot says, holding up theater records. The contract, signed years ago, falsely credited Celeste's talent to secure her first role, boosting Harrow's theater empire. Celeste's threat to expose it could have ruined him. His absence from his box seat at 9:45 p.m., the handkerchief near the crime scene, and the increased earring insurance point to motive, but Harrow scoffs, "I adored her. Why kill my star?" Poirot's eyes narrow. "Because, monsieur, she was no longer yours to control now, the mirror." Poirot explains it was angled to reflect the dressing room door, unnoticed in the chaos. Its cracked surface, dusted for prints by Jap, reveals a single clear set. Nora Kemp's. "You were there, mademoiselle," Poirot says, when Celeste died. Nora breaks, confessing she entered the dressing room to confront Celeste about stealing her rolls. They argued, and Celeste, already dizzy from the cyanide, stumbled, tearing Nora's glove and scratching her ear. Nora panicked, fleeing, but swears she didn't poison the champagne. Poirot believes Hertha glove was a distraction, but the poison required planning. He turns to the champagne bottle's tampered lock, matching scratches on Celeste's diary. Only one person had access to both, Victor Langston. Poirot's final revelation is electric. "Monsieur Langston, you poisoned Celeste," he declares. Victor's face crumples. He confesses. Marcus Gray owed thousands, threatened to expose. Victor's embezzlement, unless Celeste was silenced. Victor slipped cyanide into her champagne, knowing her ritual. He planted the glove to frame Nora, dropped the handkerchief to implicate Harrow, and broke Julian's watch to muddle the timeline. The scarf, caught in the struggle, was discarded in the warehouse to mislead. The red rose. Marcus's idea, a final taunt. "I had no choice," Victor sobs. Jap cuffs him. The theater's silent except for Nora's gasps and Julian's stunned silence. The suspense crescendos as Poirot explains the mirror's role. It reflected Victor's shadow as he tampered with the bottle, a truth hidden until now. Celeste's note, sewn into her costume, was her last act to expose Victor's betrayal. The earring, torn in the struggle, was kept by Victor as a trophy, found later in his desk. Poirot's calm masks the cost Victor's. Arrest saves lives, but Celeste's light is gone. "The truth," he murmurs. "It is a heavy curtain, but it must fall." This finale is suspense perfected, the theater's tension, the mirror's reflection, and Victor's confession deliver a gut punch. Poirot's genius ties every clue note, scarf, watch, glove, rose, earring into a motive of greed and fear. For us, it's a masterclass in resolution, leaving us satisfied yet haunted. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts. Did you guess Victor? Comment below and let's keep solving mysteries together.